Nice. Radiant Capital just launched their Riz vaults, where they allow you to borrow against and get a yield on different assets separately. That might sound confusing. I've made tons of videos on Radiant ever since they came out, so feel free to check those out. We're going to be diving into these Riz vaults. So before we get started, I do have to say none of this is financial advice. These are my own perspectives, research, and opinions, and should be treated as such. Without further ado, let's jump straight into the content. So first, what is Radiant? So Radiant is a on-chain money market platform, just like Aave, just like Compound. The only difference is they are a real yield protocol, and that's why I like them more. And I made a video on how I'm getting paid passive income to sit in a leveraged long ETH position using their platform. So if you have a certain percentage in what's called DLP, which stands for Daily Liquidity Provision, 5% in a pool on Balancer, and you stake it, and then you actually are allowed to get a share of the platform's revenue that they make from borrowing and lending fees, right? When you do that on Aave, they don't offer you that, nor do they on Compound. And they're omni-chains. You can deposit on one and borrow on another chain, all the chains that they have that they allow you to use. Okay, so let's hop into these Riz vaults. All right, so it says the Riz stands for Radiant Innovation Zone, right? And it's introducing isolated lending markets, allowing users to engage in borrowing and lending with distinct pairs of assets in separate, isolated pools. This innovative approach enhances risk management and offers increased flexibility compared to the traditional shared liquidity pools. Within Riz, different types of assets can be launched, each with its own parameters. This means there will be isolated pools with varying risk exposure, each independent from the others and the core markets. So, what are isolated markets? These are specialized lending pools where users can supply a designated collateral asset, borrow the same asset with the possibility of adding leverage, process known as looping, and borrow its counterpart. So basically, you see how I have all these assets on here. Got $1.52 in Bitcoin, a little bit USDC.E, 88K in ETH, and 12K in USDC. Now, all of these are collateral, and I use it to borrow some ETH and some USDC. So all of these can be used as collateral, if that makes sense, right? But Riz Vaults allows you to do them in one pool. So like, let's just say I wanted to do Pendle Finance, and if they add Pendle Finance, I will use Riz. I'm not using it right now because there isn't any assets in there that I would want to borrow against / get a yield on. But if they put Pendle on here as an option, which I'm hoping they do, I will add it. And hopefully they give you the option to use it as collateral as well. Okay, so back to this. Key features of Riz Markets. So you have asset specificity. So each asset is essentially on its own or its own pair. So it says each market is dedicated to a specific pair of assets such as stablecoin and risky assets. Example, layerzero USDC, layerzero ETH, and bad debt manager. So a contract deployed uniquely for each Riz market to socialize bad debt generated by significant events methodically. This mechanism presents a rush to withdraw and ensures that users responsible for bad debt cannot participate in asset withdrawals, acting as a safeguard against bad debt accumulation. So it has directions on how to use Riz. You just click the Riz button. You can see the pairs. So layerzero USDC, you deposit it, you can borrow, you have a health factor just like on the regular one. And the Riz Vault is designed to provide a centralized access point for depositing and withdrawing common assets across various Riz markets, aiming to achieve the best possible yield for those assets. There are currently only 2 Riz vaults available, one for USDC and one for ETH. Key features: universal access point, ERC 4226 compliance. This pretty much ensures compatibility with other DeFi applications, and yield optimization. So the Radiant DAO manages the Riz Vault strategy and distributions off-chain to optimize the yield for deposited assets. Now, that's cool. I wouldn't use that just because, this is what I do full time. And if you want to learn how to optimize your yield with not a lot of time involved, click the link in the description. You can book a free strategy session. You'll talk to me or one of our coaches, and we'll talk about how we think about yield farm and how we put our plans together and things like that, because the same thing that they're doing, you can do, and you can circumvent having to pay a fee for that, right? It's not that hard, to be honest with you, once you learn. So now, let's kind of do like a platform walkthrough. If you go here, you see it's 1.6 million in reserves, and the USDC APY is 0.47, but you're also getting a yield in Radiant emissions as well as arbitrum emissions for 11.94% yield. Now you can get a way better yield just yield farming in general, just being honest with you guys. But if you had an asset that you're hodling, then it would make sense to do this. So if you wanted to deposit, you can deposit ETH or USDC, and it shows the yields here. And then if you want to deposit into a pool, you have these pools here. Now, this staked ETH and wrapped ETH is a good pool because it almost, and I say almost because, here, I'll explain. It offers like a single site staking kind of feature because wrapped staked ETH mirrors the price of ETH, but if something happened with this wrapped stake ETH, I don't know if this is Lido or what, then you have to worry about like impermanent loss and other risk comes into play. Same thing here with Easy ETH. I'm not sure what Easy ETH is, but same thing. And then you have core markets. If you click on this, you can deposit these, and then you can use them as collateral to loop and get a yield and take on leverage. But there are risks in that. So definitely watch my video I made on how I'm getting paid passive income to sit in an ETH leverage long position. And just to go on their Twitter, they've been working. You can see that they're top 10 by TVL on Base. And they started on Arbitrum, moved to BNB, might have moved to ETH. Now they're on Base. Base has been heating up and they're top 10, which is really good. And, they've been posting about their Riz Markets. So they're adding GMX Arbitrum and USDY. USDY is on Ondo. We made a video on Ondo on the Know What Else channel. Feel free to check that out. And if we go to DeFi Llama, you can see that they have a TVL of 102 million. It's kind of been dropping off since they had a little flash loan exploit, but nonetheless, it's still hovering at around 102 million. And they are on multiple different chains. Let me hit V2. Okay, so it's kind of like the same thing. So yeah, I like this project. I do hold a little bit of Radiant, and I do think that the token will do well in the next bull market. So guys, with that, I like to wrap up this video. If you got value, I ask you consider subscribing, drop a like, drop a comment, share with a friend. Let me know if you have questions about Riz. Let me know if you have questions about any other money market platform. JT's just gonna walk on by. I'm not sure.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, I already said that, buddy.
Hey. Don't forget to leave a like and comment.
All right, guys. I appreciate y'all for watching. Love all y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one.